Unrivaled League needs Caitlin Clark, and they are preparing to offer her a massive.
Caitlin Clark has disclosed a shocking contract for the Unmatched League, and it's reasonable to suppose that Angel Reese and Dia Wilson are feeling HOT'd in actuality, despite their perception that they were inside the limited club. Nobody else knew that Breanna Stewart was secretly making Clark an amazing offer.
It has just been reported today that Caitlin Clark could receive a Lionel Messi-like offer to play in Unrivaled startup 3-on-3 league, which is a full court press to sign.
Setting it up was simple. Unrivaled didn't only hire Clark covertly, they put in place a rule that forbade disclosure on her so firmly that you would think it was secret knowledge.
Now, this is also interesting to me because I feel like it is kind of late in the game to start recruiting Caitlin Clark. The Unrivaled League has 26 of their 30 players already.
However, Clark is making it clear that anyone who is cheering her on has had enough of the silence. The omission of Unrivaled was totally unacceptable.
Caitlin Clark is needed for this league. It should be one of their main goals is to get her to play in the league no matter what that costs, no matter what that is going to take.
But if you don't already know, let me tell you the complete story, since Unrivaled didn't come here to follow anyone else's rules. The new and bold face of women's basketball, Unrivaled, wants to drastically alter the sport. They take women's sports quite seriously, to put it mildly.
Now they're realizing we might need Caitlin. Nafisa Collier, who is one of the founders of Unrivaled, had this to say about Caitlin Clark.
With the backing of major heavyweights like Mika Aguamike and Breanna Stewart, this is more than just a league. A T resembles a movement. Imagine primetime coverage, 3-on-3 games, fierce competitiveness, and so on. T all boils down to offering women's the kind of Showtime treatment has long been absent from basketball. The worst thing is this. They weren't looking for just any players to leave a lasting impact. They had their sights set on one strong moniker from the beginning, Caitlin Clark.
Go ahead and look. Everywhere you turn, Indiana Fever's breaking.
But there was a plot twist. When Unrivaled arrived, fans went berserk, asking why the hottest rising talent, Caitlin Clark, was invisible. Social media went bananas. Sports broadcasters couldn't stop bringing up the topic. And the Unrivaled comments section, overwhelmed by inquiries about where's Caitlin.
It's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats.
It's brand new. It's going to be hard to get eyeballs on it. All of these, the WNBA is in their 28th season and it's still a new league. Like, it's hard to get the kind of virality, viewership, all the things that you want right off the bat. And especially if you don't have a big name or a big draw.
It is rare to see a rookie attract such large crowds that stadium attendance rises by 50%, and she's not even on the starting lineup of the biggest new league in town for most supporters. IT was a slap in the face, as if Unrivaled didn't see Clark's worth or worse, thought they could have their big premiere without her.
The kind of physicality and double teams and face guards and all of those things that she was receiving on the court, but also all of the noise, all of the drama, all of the media circus surrounding her off the court, that just had to have been so much to handle.
But Stewart and her unmatched group knew exactly what they were doing. Breanna Stewart, one of the league's founders, is used to timely disclosures. She did not inadvertently conceal Clark's role, maintain the fan suspense, and then make a startling revelation to them when it matters. They didn't want Clark's consent to be the main focus of the roster. Too soon, no. They were building suspense and preparing for Clark's impending declaration. IT would hit like a ton of bricks.
She should be one of the top paid players in the world just for the sheer numbers that she's bringing.
And Stewart and her team knew that other players would start talking about renegotiations as soon as they heard about this contract, because it was so important or even feeling excluded. The primary objective was to avoid stirring the pot too soon, but after the statistics were out, they hit like a tidal wave. Did I end contrast? Aya Wilson, the current WNBA MVP, makes almost $230,000 each season. It's the kind of contract that screams new level as if it's unimportant.
to drive revenue so we can give the players extra income opportunities. I had to educate the players. They're like, "Boo, 75 million divided by 144 payout."
Furthermore, Unrivaled's new partnership with TNT demonstrates their dedication to elevating women's basketball to a phenomenon during prime time that we're talking about over 45 aired games and a full-fledged endeavor to bring in viewers that the WNBA hasn't been able to. The WNBA, in contrast, averaged roughly 657,000 spectators for every match in 2024. With Clark at the center, Unrivaled is betting that she can double that
And it was just announced recently that Unrivaled struck a television deal with TNT. Now, this exclusive media rights deal is reported to be 45 plus primetime games. TNT Sports are also invested in the league, and sources say that it's a 6-year deal that could be worth more than $100 million.
The crowd are enjoying it. The vibe among Clark's fellow athletes is slightly different. Point for top WNBA players like Clark's offer to Angel Reese and Aya Wilson extends beyond an astonishing amount at IT is an inescapable, screaming reminder of the enormous differences in earnings within the sport.
Probably the biggest issue that players had. We did a player survey and travel. The league was able to kind of take a lot of pressure off of itself.
Although Rachel Reese even expressed her frustration on social media, suggesting that years of dedication to this sport had been overlooked through a single mega contract. She is not at blame. Seeing a novice make an offer that is significantly lower than the salaries of seasoned celebs is painful compared to players earning between $150,000 and $200,000. Clark's contract is more than 20 times larger, their compensation indicating the breadth of Unrivaled funded priorities.
But there have been so many players, coaches, media personality who have been so afraid to just admit the fact that Caitlin Clark has been the sole reason for so many of these things happening this season in the WNBA.
This is the point at which things start to get truly interesting, although women's sports could benefit from this agreement. Furthermore, has the potential to result in a great deal of stress. The WNBA has fought tenaciously for greater pay, respect, and exposure. And now they're seeing Clark enter unbeatable with a golden ticket. That's considerably more valuable than they've ever noticed. IT makes reasonable that this would provoke hostility among players who have been building the sport for years, only to see a beginner like Clark suddenly become the best, both financially and physically.
Yeah, what's the headline? It says, we're not asking to get paid what the men get paid. We're asking to get paid the same percentage of revenue shared.
Furthermore, it's critical to recognize that Caitlin Clark has evolved into a sensation and a commercial treasure, not just a player. And her freshman season in the WNBA proved WH-wide in a league where low attendance has always been an issue compared to its male equaled. Clark's arrival was like a meteor.
But we didn't want to rush into it because we wanted new owners, like new ownership groups. Anyone who knows sports here knows, like, it's a slog to be a...
The Clark effect led to a 50% increase in arena attendance. Fans crowded in to see a glimpse of her magic in court. Every game she played was also viewed by more than 1 million people, something unheard of by the WNBA. Clark not only became a member of the league, but she also sparked it immediately. Her best moments went viral. Long after the buzzer went off, fans were enthralled with her appearance, and her social media following was booming.
Raised overall viewership. Like Nafisa said, they're changing venues just to accommodate all the fans who want to come watch Caitlin Clark play.
Talk about merchandise for a moment. Clark's shirt was practically flying off the shelves in addition to selling out, shattering WNBA gear sales records. Not only did fans want to see her, but they also wanted a piece. I've heard out of the meeting with Caitlin Clark, her name, her moves, and her whole brand could not be replaced by the league. For a WNBA that has been fighting mightily to gain the attention it merits, Clark's entrance seemed like a miracle sent by the basketball gods. She supplied the much-needed attention and publicity. In addition to the typical crowd, she also garnered a whole new, younger, and much more diverse fan base.
A lot of this noise came by people that were sitting on this network. They tried to minimize her, said, well, you giving her all this.
Before Unrivaled made its enormous offer, Ice Cube's Big 3 League was considering Clark. Yes, all of the former NBA players play 3-on-3 there, IN 2024, Cube gained notoriety for offering. To play in his league, Clark was paid a staggering $3 million. Oh, put this in context, the Big Three's best players. The majority of former NBA greats make between $100,000 and $500,000 a year. Ice Cube, though, was ready to go all out for Clark. Multiplied by that, for him this was more than just signing a talented player. T has to do with bringing Clark's undeniable charm and electric energy into a league recognized for its team of well-known all-male players.
But we have former NBA players playing in Big Three, right? So for Cube to come out and be like, I'm going to pay Caitlin Clark more than I play any of these guys who used to play in the NBA. I'm going to pay Caitlin Clark more because that's the value that I see in her.
Before Unrivaled made its enormous offer, Ice Cube's Big Three league was considering Clark. Yes, all of the former NBA players play 3-on-3 there. IN 2024, Cube gained notoriety for offering. To play in his league, Clark was paid a staggering $3 million. Oh, I put this in context, the Big Three's best players. The majority of former NBA greats make between $100,000 and $500,000 a year. Ice Cube, though, was ready to go all out for Clark. Multiplied by that, for him this was more than just signing a talented player. T has to do with bringing Clark's undeniable charm and electric energy into a league recognized for its team of well-known all-male players.
And he was so unapologetic with the way that he came out and said, this is who we want. This is the value that we see in her, regardless. If she can't make a game, that's totally fine. We know that it coincides with WNBA season.
This was not your average sports transaction. Cube made a significant statement. This league had a lot of previous titans of the NBA, but there was something about Clark that he found unconventional. He was ready to overthrow the Big Three's traditions to accommodate her, even if it meant putting aside the egos of his former heroes. He was intrigued to Clark's cross-court appeal because her game wasn't only for women's basketball. T was capable of pulling and global sports aficionados.
We have Lisa Leslie, Nancy Lieberman, like there are legends among us in the Big Three, and there are high-level former professional athletes on our courts, and he was okay putting it out there because he knew how much it could help the Big.
However, this is where Clark's decision becomes even more fascinating. Despite the enormous $3 million, care at the Cube dangling in front of her was rejected by her. She was quite clear about her intention to stay in the WNBA. Merely seeking fame or easy cash, Clark chose the WNBA because she considered it to be her home base. League where she could grow from the inside out and progress professionally. That IT was a powerful moment. Talks about her commitment to both her professional and the future of women's sports.
Unrivaled would have taken that exact approach. And what it feels like to me is Caitlin Clark was an afterthought in all of this. And maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. Maybe they wanted to wait until after the WNBA season.
By choosing the WNBA, Clark elevated the standard for sports loyalty. Yes, having money is great, but for her, there was more than just a paycheck left. Her objective was to enhance and promote women's basketball. The future fans also took note. Her choice demonstrated her commitment to the game's future when Unrivaled eventually returned. With their $75 million mega deal, they understood they weren't just signing a participant. They have access to a skill that comes just once in a generation, someone who is incredibly ambitious.